And should be, most of our Georgia promoters are here. And this is basically, we added this because at our national meeting, there was some issues with some shows with certain things that are required. And Tyler sent me an email to make sure that we go over all of this with our promoters and make sure everybody understanding on the same page. Some of these things I've already gone over with the staff in Georgia. We had our meeting earlier and we've gone over some of these things that are going to be required. So basically, to my promoters here in Georgia, you're going to get your confirmation letter. I'm going to try to do them at least 30 days out. Make sure if you have all of your people that you need to have, like your DJ, your MC. Make sure your MC understands that they are announcing names in the morning and they're announcing names at the finals. That has led some confusion in the past with the MCs because they think they're only doing the finals, but they have to announce the names in the morning as they get on the stage, and then they're doing the announcements in the evening. So also your photographer, I think most people have already secured Michael, or he's our preferred photographer, or a photographer. Make sure you have them secured now, because what's happening right now, a lot of these people are getting booked for shows, so you want to make sure you have your photographer. I don't choose your photographer, you choose your photographer, but all you got to do is you got to make sure they understand the NPC rules in terms of uploading photos, when they need to be uploaded onto the site, okay? Because we send in the final score sheets, but they need photos to go in with those. Registration is between 5 and 7, isn't that what we said? Mm-hmm. Yes, 5 and 7. Now, some people wanted to do registration early. That presents a problem for us because, you know, all of our staff are volunteer. Nobody works full-time for the NPC, so people have jobs and they have to get off work and then they have to get to the venue. So make sure your registration is from 5 to 7. We're going to do two things new. Number one, we're not going to do the athletes meeting in the morning anymore. We're going to do it in the evening after registration. So the athletes meeting will be at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. So that kills that. If people got tanning in the morning, that's fine. They'll have a time to be at the venue, but we're not going to do the meetings in the morning anymore. We will do them in the afternoon, in the evening after registration. We are going to do live critiques. We're not going to be giving out judges' emails anymore. What the athletes are going to be told is that each of the judges at the table will have a division, and after that, when that division is up for the finals, that judge will go backstage and give critiques to everybody in that division, okay? So we're trying to eliminate this. People are now sending in and asking for critiques for shows they did 2 months ago, and it's like, well, okay. And then not only that, people are asking and they're sending bad pictures. So everybody, I think, is going to this process to try to eliminate that, okay? All right. You can no longer have swords or anything. I just say this. You can't have anything that's going to kill somebody. All right? You cannot have deadly weapons as awards anymore. Swords, daggers, knives, any replica thereof. You can no longer have those. They had an incident in the NPC. I think it was a girlfriend-boyfriend combination. She got mad and it didn't go well. Uh-oh. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Hey, is my garage door open? Yeah. I don't know why it keeps doing that. All right, thank you. My garage door keeps opening itself. I don't know why I said that. So yes, so you can no longer have any kind of swords or any kind of hatchets.
Anything sharp.
Well, Well, you don't even have to be shocked. You can't bludgeon anybody anymore if you don't. So that's gone. And then if you have any questions, don't contact me. You're to contact the NPC office if it's questionable about what you're giving. Now, this doesn't apply to any of your stuff that your sponsors are giving you to go with the competitors, like belts and supplements and all that. It doesn't apply to that. It applies to the actual awards that you're giving out. You can't give out stuff that's going to kill people. All right. We now have a trophy expediter in Georgia. Markel is our trophy. Markel is our trophy expediter. He will be on the NPC staff. He will be doing the trophies for all of our shows. We're going to eliminate any issues backstage. There was a possible issue because the expediter, they're on the left side of the stage and things are handled on that side, but the right side of the stage. So there's been people wandering back, going on that side to come to the other side. It's been an issue. So I know some jurisdictions, I know Tennessee, they have one trophy expediter. A lot of jurisdictions, it's just going to one expediter who knows all the NPC rules and can make sure it tests it. Markel has done a great job. He's done a number of our shows. He is here. And then now, if you have, there are also rules regarding the trophy presenters. Because you got to remember, we're on pay-per-view. And so you have children watching, and so we've had some incidents in the past where some people their clothing wasn't appropriate for, the sheer, see-through, thongs showing that, they just didn't go over well. So Markel he's capable, he knows all the rules, and he will be able to make sure. Now, if you're going to have your own trophy people, you're going to have to give him that list ahead of time. If you want him to actually, he has some presenters. If you want him to use his presenters, then you can tell him just use your presenters. This does not eliminate your sponsors and other people that you have on stage, but we're talking about when we're handling out medals, we have to have a group of people that can be on the stage and capable of doing that. Okay?
All right. Say something real quick?
Yes.
I'll make sure that I get my contact information for all of you guys. That way you can reach out to me, and then we can, before the shows are coming up, we can discuss your trophy people if you have them, because we're going to do like a little short training and things like that. So we'll have that. We'll be able to talk about their clothing and all of that stuff too. Okay? All right.
And he's going to be, if you got stuff that needs to be assembled, he's going to be able to be there, assemble all of that so you don't have those issues and put everything in place for you. All right? So we got that. There's the EMT must be present and backstage. That is a new rule that the EMT or whoever medical staff you have has to be present and have to be backstage. Please get your insurance requirements into the NPC as soon as possible. And those are any insurance requirements that you have in dealing with the venue itself. So make sure you get that into the NPC, and as soon as you can, as soon as you secure your venue. They're asking that you don't wait till the week of or a week out from the show to actually get them that information. All right, so there's another new rule. We now have to send into the NPC an actual list of expediters and judges for your jurisdiction. You can no longer in your district just have people show up on the day of and expedite. This goes mainly to our head judges and our expediters. So now promoters, we have a list that I've already sent to Tyler. I've already met with everyone on our group. They have to have their NPC cards because that's an insurance issue for them being backstage. I already have the list from Georgia. If anybody wishes to join the team in Georgia as an expediter, then they need to get a hold of Steve. Steve will get a hold of me, and we'll get them the credentials so they can go backstage and expedite. Other than that, You cannot just tell people, family, friends, yeah, come to the show and can help out with the NPC responsibilities. That can no longer happen, okay? We're required for our people to have their NPC cards. If you are selling training passes, those passes for IFBB pros, only if it's an IFBB pro show and an NPC show, their IFBB pro card will suffice for them backstage. Now, it came up at the end of the meeting, but I think they're going to clarify. I need to get clarification on that because it is the same insurance as the NPC. So I thought they said at the end of the meeting that it's fine that if they just have the IFBB card, but I will get clarification on that. They have to have a current card. Now, for you promoters that offer tickets to the IFBB Pro, I don't think it's mandatory anymore, right, Alex?
For
Giving tickets to pros.
to access backstage?
No, just pros in general.
It's not mandatory, no.
No, okay, it's not mandatory, promoters.
They should also should have updated it in the contract, because you'll have some pushback from current pro competitors that are used to the previous version of the contract.
Yes. So you are not required to give them, 2 tickets anymore. That's not a requirement anymore. They have to purchase a ticket, just like everybody else. But like Alex said, that should have been updated in the contract, but I know in some jurisdictions, last year was still an issue for those shows when they came up wanting tickets. So that's your deal with your tickets, okay? And then those people should have a current card. They can't just come up and say, I'm an IFBB Pro. They have to have a current card. There's also an incident report sheet that I'm going to be sending to you. I'm going to send you all of the rules and regulations. I'm going to send you all this information, and I'm also going to send you an incident report sheet. I'm going to have a hard copy, or the head judge will have a hard copy on file with them at your show. But basically, if you have any incident where someone is injured, and mainly it's backstage, or if you have someone is injured within the venue where we're holding the show, you have to do an incident report, okay? And that's just so that the NPC would be aware that something did occur at the show. Because if it's an insurance issue that comes down the line, it's one of liability. At every stage, you gotta have roped off the media area and the judges table. We get a mad rush of people in the break or at different times coming to the judges table. That's no longer permitted. They want those areas roped off, and they also want, now you can get security or you can get one of your people that volunteer to stand there, but they're going to have to make sure people don't come into that area. It's also an issue, people looking down at the judge's table, looking at score sheets, looking at paperwork. Becca can attest to this. You just get a mad rush of people to the table, and it's like, okay, no, that can't.
Back up.
Yeah, and they want to talk to the judges, that can't happen anymore. It's blocked off, and so that area has to be secured and be roped off. If anyone wants to, there's a new procedure for becoming a judge. If you want to test judge, you have to send off for the questionnaire. I give you the NPC office email address if you know anybody want to test judge. They will have to send off the information required, the bio, and answer some questions. They send it back to the person that's wanting to become a judge, and then they let them know, I'm out of the process. So don't call and ask me what happened with me judging, because I will not have any idea, because that is something handled exclusively now by the NPC office in terms of judges. And they will call me and let me know that that person is eligible to sit and judge a show. Okay? All right. This rule, basically, if any one show falls in the first half of the year, you can submit your sanction application earlier, at least 6 months out from that date. what was happening is most people had to wait till the first of the year, or we have different rules, different jurisdictions. But we pretty much, everyone is okay with us. I think Roland is the first show. We have our first meeting in October. And so you can start submitting your sanction applications as early as October for Georgia and getting those in. And I think that's it. I will provide the rules and the forms. So objective of today's meeting is you're going to have a number of different people. You're going to have how to promote my show, how you can use social media effectively. One person I know uses it extremely well is Joe Pascula. I get something from Joe Pascula probably about 3 or 4 times a day. And he's a promoter. So one of the things we wanted to do is have this about helping you promoters with promoting your show. You're going to have Serge come in and talk about lighting and photography. So, bad pictures, and Michael is here too. Bad pictures, what causes bad pictures, and when those bad pictures go up to the NPC 9 times out of 10, it's not the photographer, it's the stage lighting.
Thank you.
And I had to go through that with one of the lighting people that did not understand where lighting should be in terms of a bodybuilding competition and how it should be on the stage, and it calls for a very, very difficult situation. So we need you to understand that, and so understand some criteria so that people don't get their sanctions revoked because they put on a shabby show or they get a bunch of complaints, okay? All right, so Whitney, you want to start with the social media? All right, and thank you all. This one is continuous, I think, until like noon. So you're gonna have various people come in at various times. How long are you?
45 minutes, but it won't take that long.
All right.
Serge
And
after me.
Serge is after you. So Serge will come in and talk with you about staging. He has a whole setup that he can do, but I'm not saying you have to use him, but he is an expert on the staging in your production, okay? And Mike can chat with you. You have production stuff too, don't you?
So the social media stuff and all that.
All right, so, all right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
And get around and meet these competitors and meet these people, because these are the people who will be in your show. Okay? All right, take care.
Thank you. All right, so I'm Whitney Weiser-Savage. I'm going to talk to you about how to effectively promote your show with social media. Who all in here is a Georgia promoter? I just want to know where everybody's from. Okay, Tennessee promoters, Mississippi, Alabama, buddy. What states am I living now? Alex is like a worldwide promoter.
Oh, everybody's going ahead for Georgia.
You're everywhere. Anyways.
He was blocking me. No, you're good.
I know some of you guys came to this last year, so I'm gonna go kind of fast through some of the info at the beginning, but just stop me if you have questions or if you want me to go in detail on anything. I should probably turn off the light so y'all can see this. Some of the slides I actually want you to see, some is important. Okay, so social media, as you know, is a free promotional tool that can really, market your show well. So this is the 7th year. I'm the promoter of the NPC IFBB Nashville Fish Show, one of the only all-female shows in the country. And this is my 7th year promoting it. And I think I've built this show primarily on social media. That's what I've done most of my marketing with. So before you start your page, you really want to define what your brand is. And there's too many shows all over the country now. You have to really think about what makes your show different and why would people want to do it. So what is your mission and your vision? What's your story and your why? Why did you start a show in the first place? It's not just for money. I don't think you'd be in this room if the only reason you started a show was for money. There's usually a deeper meaning or reason why. For me, I competed as a pro for 10 years and 30-something shows. And I just want to bring all my experiences that I had as a competitor and bring it to these athletes, these amateur athletes that may never make it to the Olympia stage. And so I want them to feel like the rock stars that they are. I made it all women so that they could have their own platform within the bodybuilding industry. And so that's something that I put out in my messaging a lot because a lot of women will like that and want to get behind that. Your brand look. As long as your show theme, your colors, and your fonts are all the same, and you stay consistent with that, you just want, you have to have a consistent look. You don't want to start out with, purple and blue being your primary colors, and then you start factoring in red and yellow and green, and it changes every time. People are going to get confused on what your branding is. Right now, when you see a red and gold and black post, you know it's Wings of Strength. If you see purple and black, you know it's going to be Nashville Fish Show. Like you want people to recognize it before they even see what your logo is. And then second, you want to target your specific audience. So if you're trying to reach everyone, you're going to reach no one. So really take some time and think about who are you trying to reach. Is it that first-time competitor that doesn't know anything about the sport and they're thinking about competing? Is it your local competitors that may have competed before, but you're offering a different experience or a title or some kind of status for them? Or are you trying to reach the seasoned athletes that want to turn pro and you're bringing in pro judges for them to get looked at, things like that? So really be specific when you're thinking about your target audience, because you're going to create content that really resonates with who you're trying to reach, and you'll attract them. So who are they? What do they want? What do they care about? What are their fears and their pain points? So the Nashville Fit Show, we target a lot of new, true novice, first-time competitors. So what we do with our content is put out a lot of education, like really basic stuff that they need to learn. Like judges, what are the judges looking for? The criteria, the class descriptions, like what does open class mean? What does true novice mean? We put out just a lot of education, since that's who we're trying to target. And that's your solution too. Like how are you gonna help that person? And then what social platform is your audience on? There's a lot to choose from, but usually it's going to be Instagram or Facebook nowadays where everybody's at. And then what content do they need to see? Like I was just talking about, what do they need to see to come to your show and do it? So this one is kind of obvious, but it has to be said. On your social profile bio, you want to include the most important information. Like put NPC or IFBB should be on your front page. I've been to some shows' pages and it just had the name of the show and I'm like, is this an NPC show? Is it OCB? Is this just some random Hawaiian Tropics contest? I didn't know because they didn't put the designation. So you want that to be clearly stated in your bio. If it's a national qualifier or pro qualifier, whatever it is that's going to appeal to athletes, you want that front and center. What do athletes want to put on their Instagram profile? Nationally qualified competitor. Right? That's like a big status thing to them now. So if it's a national qualifier show, put that in your bio so that they know and they'll want to come to your show. And then the show date and location, of course, just so it's easy to find. You can also use your story highlights down here below to just put in quick information that they'll want to access. Like we've got FAQs, testimonials, which is reviews, sponsors, things like that. Does anybody have any questions on this part so far? I'm going kind of fast because we covered this last year. Okay, so moving on to the actual content creation and setting your goals. So what do you want to accomplish with your social media? There's a thing called vanity metrics where it looks good on paper when you're giving a presentation, I'll have this many followers or whatever, but it doesn't actually correlate to sales or making your business money. Followers is probably one of the fluffiest vanity metrics because just because you have 100,000 followers, well, that doesn't mean your community of followers is actually engaged in what you're doing. So having the right number of quality followers is way more important than what the overall number is. So don't focus on that. So our goals, you want to tie your social media goals back to your business goals. As promoters, what do we want to do? We need to build awareness that our show even exists first. And we want to attract sponsors and athletes because that's how we make our money. Sponsors and athletes primarily. Ticket sales too, but as you know, that kind of correlates to the number of athletes that you have. So these are our goals with our social media and content creation. When you go to create content, you don't want your audience to feel like you're constantly selling them. Like buy this, sign up for this, do this. you want to educate and serve your audience at least 80% of the time. So 80% of your posts should just be geared about helping them without trying to get something in return for it. So helpful information like I was talking about, the judging criteria, class descriptions, or resources that could help them be more successful. Upcoming workshops, coaches, websites, referencing the NPC News Online website where all the information is constantly. So you want to be doing that most of the time. And then the other 20% is, the information about your show when you're really trying to sell them on, okay, sign up now, register for more classes, buy tickets now, stuff like that. So creating content can be kind of overwhelming if you're not used to it. Trying to think of stuff on the fly is not going to be successful. So just with anything in life, you need a plan to follow. Just like the competitors, they follow their plan to get ready for the show. Whenever you started your business, you had a plan to follow to make it successful. So this is kind of how I structure what I do to take stress and anxiety off of me. I don't feel like, oh, I don't have anything to post today, I gotta get it posted. You don't want to end up in a situation like that. So just first sit down and brainstorm ideas. You can do this once a week, you can do this once a month, however, whatever works with you and your schedule. Once you get a lot of practice in doing this, you can easily sit down and in a couple hours come up with enough ideas to stretch out over a month or two for content. It just takes some practice in doing. So again, back to our goals, we want to support sponsors and we want to support our athletes. So a way to support your sponsors is have dedicated sponsor announcements. Every time a sponsor signs up with you, announce that they're part of the show. You're giving them brand visibility to your following and attracting people to their page. So that's what they want. Your sponsorship packages should always include some aspect of social media. You can also, if they get a higher package of sponsorship, you can include like some dedicated posts to them and work with them on, okay, what are you trying to promote? Do you have events? Do you have products that I can help you promote, and then try to promote them on your page? And they'll pay more for that. So keep that in mind. Something that I like to do also is prize giveaways for followers or early athlete signups. So this does two things. It supports your sponsor because you're getting them more brand visibility and awareness. And usually in the contest, you want to say, okay, follow such and follow the show page. So you're getting them more followers too. And then you're getting early athlete signups as well. So here's an example of how I do my sponsor announcement posts. I just do it every third post because I think it looks aesthetically pleasing to have it like this. And so every time I get a new sponsor, their logo goes in the template that I've already created for that year in the design, and in the caption I tell a little bit about the company, who they are, where you can find out more about them, and basically why they should care. Alright, supporting athletes. So again, like we talked about, info and resources to help them succeed. Exclusive discounts and prize giveaways for early signups, like I was just talking about. So as promoters, we need money to run the show, and this is a way to bring in dollars a little extra early. Not every athlete is going to sign up early, but most of them will still wait until the last minute. But even if you could get, a few extra signups early, sometimes that really helps in buying your medals, buying your athlete bags, or whatever you have to spend on. So this row right here, the NPC prep checklist, is an example of that. And I'm going to go more into this later, but basically it's just a list of what an athlete would need to do in preparation for a show. So it's basically hire a coach, get an NPC card, so and so. And we'll go more into that in just a second. All right, and next is content batching. So this means just creating a lot of content at one time, so you're not taking time to do this every day because nobody has time to do that every day. Sitting down again once a week, taking a couple hours once a week or once a month to just design a whole bunch of images and write a bunch of captions really, really helps. And you can stretch it out for usually a month. Okay, so here's the example on the NPC prep checklist. This is something that I just made up. I mean, some people might think, oh, that's not the right order they should do it in, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's gonna help a competitor, whether they do it in that order or not, really doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. So this is a design that I made. It has 9 points on it. Hire a prep coach, get an NPC card, budget for show expenses, hire a posing coach, pick a show, register, book a tan. It's got all those things on it. So this could have easily just been one post. I could have made the post, wrote the list in the caption, and been done with it. But you could actually turn this into 9 different posts because you could just explain in detail what each item on it is. And so that's kind of what I did, is I just highlighted whatever I was going to be talking about. In the caption, I went into more detail on it. Like, what is an NPC card? I think sometimes a lot of us have been in the sport for so long, we just assume that everybody knows like what an NPC card is and what all these terms are that we use so freely. They have no idea what an NPC card is, what true novice means, or what any of this stuff means. So explaining it to them in a post is really going to help them, no matter how simple and basic it seems to us. So this is just an example of how you can turn one idea into 9 different posts. All right, content repurposing, aka content recycling. So taking the time to make all this content takes a lot of time, right? But the good news is once you've created content one time, you have that template that you can just repurpose and recreate several times to make it look fresh and new every year. So this NPC judging criteria, as you can see, so not the sponsors right here, but all of this, the judging criteria, this post, I just explained the 4 criteria in female judging, and then each bodybuilding, fitness, figure, bikini, women's physique, wellness. I make these posts every year. All I do is update who the current Olympia winner is and make a new reel out of it. So I've done this for like 3 years, so I don't have to create content from scratch every time. So I know you're going to feel like, this is taking so much of my time to make all this content, but once you've got it, it's so easy to repurpose it every single year. And that's one example. Let's see, a series that I did last year, Fit Show Prep Series, I called it. So these, over here, these reels, when do I register for a show, and then what do I do? How do I find the right posing coach? When should I start practicing posing? What expenses should I budget for competing? So these actually just turned into my NPC prep checklist this year. So it looks completely different, just the design and the captions, but it's actually the same content, just repurposed into something completely different. Nobody's gonna know, they're still gonna find the information helpful, so don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel every single year, every single time you create content.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
With your logos for your sponsors, I'm getting a lot of repeat sponsors from last year.
Yep.
So when I'm doing I've got it set up the way you do it, every 3rd post. Learned that last year from this class. So I'm, say I got the same guy, like Strong Box Apparel or whatever, you know. And so I'll put their logo back in there. I keep it the same way, but then my details about them, I've just copied and pasted from last year, put it in and said, hey, and then just change the date of the show. Is that okay, you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
I do that all the time.
Okay, yeah.
As long as the sponsor is okay with that, which they almost always are fine because they don't want to give you new information anyway. And if you do it right the first time too, you already have a good description made up, so there's no reason to change it unless they've completely changed their brand or their company, which usually never happens.
Sweet.
So, yeah, it can be really easy. And then too, like on your sponsor posts, if you're new to making content and you're like, I don't really have that many ideas, and you want to do a sponsor post every other post instead of every 3rd post, totally fine to do that. Just whatever works for you is what's going to work the best. If you can't commit to, posting 5 or 6 times a week, then you don't have to. Like he was talking about Joe posting 3 or 4 times a day. You don't have to do that. You can still have a successful page that's still going to grow. You don't have to post 5 or 6 times a week. If you think you can only do twice a week starting out, if it's too overwhelming, start with twice a week. Then increase to 3 times a week. Just whatever you can do consistently, just do that. Some tools that I use to create content. Canva is a free design tool. That's what I make almost every single Instagram post in. Because I can save all my templates, all my designs there, just like with my sponsor posts. I can just have a template, I just pop in a different logo. Every time I need something, it's super easy. It's a lot easier to use than Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or anything like that. It's much quicker, and they actually have templates that you can use, so you don't have to create it from scratch, which makes it way better. And then, this is what Canva looks like.
Whitney, do you schedule your posts out, like on Mondays? Do you like schedule them to post for the whole week? That way you don't actually have to post every
Yep.
day.
I'm actually going to talk about that in a minute too, because Instagram now, as you guys probably know, you can schedule in the app and you don't even have to have another app to do it. So I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Okay, this video won't play. But this is basically inside Canva. It's just canva.com. Again, it's free. There is an upgraded version that you can get more stuff on and that you pay for, which I actually do get, but I think it's like $60. It's not a lot. So this is just a folder where I keep everything. This presentation that I'm doing right now, this was created in Canva. My sponsorship package, it was created in Canva. Everything is so easy, so highly recommend it. And then Trello, I say Trello, you call it Trello?
Trello.
Trello?
Trello.
I call it Trello, maybe that's the Tennessee accent. I don't know. So I use this tool, it's just a project management tool that you can just keep things in. And what I do is I keep a checklist. So inside that card, when you open it up, you'll actually see, this is where I put my ideas. Once I have my ideas and I want to schedule them, I just kind of keep a rough draft of it going in here and then I check it off as I do it. You don't have to have it like this. You could easily just use a pencil and piece of paper or Excel spreadsheet. Anything that helps you stay organized. This is what helps me, so this is what I use. So I know I have content coming up.
Whitney, is Trello a paid service?
It's free,
Platform?
but you can't upgrade. I think I actually use the free version because I don't need to upgrade it. So yeah, it's free.
Okay.
It's awesome. It would be really good for you managing different shows
Yeah.
and the timelines. You would love that tool actually. Okay, content scheduling. Perfect time. So Instagram has a feature now where you can schedule up to a week in advance. You can't schedule more than a week in advance, but you could sit down once a week on Sundays and schedule your post for that week so that you don't even have to think about it until the next weekend. And it really takes a lot of stress off of you. So when you go to make a post, I have screenshots kind of showing you how if you're not sure how to schedule it. So this is your post screen when you're getting ready to post. So instead of clicking share when you want to share the post, at the very bottom, if you go down to advanced settings, it'll take you to this screen. Just click this little icon that says schedule this post. Once you do that, a pop-up will come up and you can set the day and time you want that post to schedule. And then click set time. Then you go back and then this says change. Instead of share, it says schedule. So you can schedule it and then you're done. Anybody have any questions on that? You used to have to pay for an app to schedule posts, and now you don't have to do that. All right, expanding your reach. There's a few different ways to do this. Think about partnerships, like what other shows or brands or events could you cross-promote with so that they will repost your stuff and you'll gain access to their audience too. You just want to tag their pages. In Tennessee, I don't know about other states, but in Tennessee, usually like when we make a post, we'll tag all the other shows in Tennessee and they'll repost it, maybe not on their main page, but on their stories. And so you're getting access to their audiences too. And so that's how we kind of help each other out in Tennessee with all of our shows. And things like that really help. Another thing you can do is tag your sponsors. They're part of the show. So if it's anything dealing with the show, tag them in it. They'll probably repost it for you. That's a way to get more views. Now, invite the collaborators. This is a great way to get a lot of views on your page if you invite collaborators. And I'll show you what that means. All right, so back to my judging criteria example. What I do is I tag the Olympia winner in it. I invite them as a collaborator. Most of them won't accept it, but if they accept it, then your content shows up on their page. So Oksana accepted ours, and so now we have access to her 341,000 followers. They'll see she's on it, of course, so she'll want it to be on her page. We talk about the fitness judging criteria in it. It's got the National Fit Show logo on it. So not everybody might look at it, but we might get an extra 20, 30, 40 followers from that might be interested in looking for a show like that. So this is a great way to get more views too. Does anybody have any questions on collaborators?
I do actually.
Yeah.
And I can Google it, sorry.
No, you're
But I've tried to, I don't think you can. So it's like if you forget to invite someone as a collaborator,
Yeah.
you've missed out on that
Yeah.
opportunity.
good. You have to, if you forget, you basically would have to delete the post
Yeah.
and go back and redo it. Yeah, I don't know why it's like
I don't know if
that.
it was updated, but yeah.
No, you can go back and tag people, but you just can't invite them as a collaborator. I don't know why, but yeah, it's really annoying. So I've just deleted posts before and just redid it if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, did you use your personal page or you started a whole new page?
No, this is the Nashville Fit Show page.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how did you drive traffic to that page when you first started?
by posting. Just keep posting, keep posting. It's gonna feel like so slow progress for a while.
Like you're talking to a wall.
Yes, who said that? It's gonna feel like you're talking to a wall. Let me go back.
One really good way to share your show page is, ask people in your personal page network to go and like the page or share it. Because, your friends and people who already know about your show are really good, promoters of your show. So other people will see it on their page.
Yeah.
Wendy, do you like, if you have I'm sorry, go ahead. If you do a post on Instagram, do you like to share that same post, like your Instagram reel on your Facebook too? Do you like doing
Oh,
that?
yeah, yes, I do have them connected to,
Yeah.
so that it just does it automatically.
But sometimes it doesn't do it, like it'll
It won't
say.
do reels.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Usually the static posts, like just the
Like
images.
just a post will do it, but not the reels.
Yeah, you have to go make a separate
Yeah.
post if you
So
want.
I'll just hit the little download button on Instagram, and that way it kind of keeps it all together, even though it puts the little, watermark on there of Instagram. But I still just throw that on Facebook anyways. I get a couple.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Just go ahead and just read.
Just
Can
say,
you do
if you can like save the video before it puts a watermark on it,
Okay.
or if you get a repost app that doesn't do that, or you might have to pay like $1 or something for the app so that it doesn't put that watermark on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, don't do that.
don't do that.
Don't do that. I've been doing that. I've been doing it a lot.
Stop.
It's okay, it's not bad, I'm sure it's still growing your page, but
Yeah.
yeah, it looks better if it doesn't have the watermark of another platform on
Yeah.
there. Question?
Also, you can have a competitor, like you're doing like Oksana or somebody, do a takeover of your page.
Mm-hmm.
So then that person who has that following is now taking over your page, you advertise that, her followers come to your page, and you give her access to that, and then just give her limited access, so it's only for a day, or like a day or whatever, a few hours, and you'll get a lot of her followers to start following your page as well.
Yeah, if you could get a well-known athlete to agree to that and take over your stories for a day, then that would get you a lot of exposure for sure. So I went back so you could see the profile. This is not my personal page. I made a page specific for the Nashville Fit Show, which I'm glad you brought that up. You will want to make a page. You don't want to use your personal page. You want a page for your show, or if you have multiple shows under one umbrella, you want a page for that so that you can promote all the show stuff. I post too much show stuff. I wouldn't want that on my personal page anyway because it's separate. But this is my 7th year promoting, and I just now have 7,300 followers. So it's taken that long to get to this number. And at first, it's going to feel like you're not making any traction. You might get 1 follower a week, 10 the next week, and then none for a month. The most important thing is to just stay consistent, keep posting whether you feel like you're, making any traction or not, because it'll pay off eventually. Just like, you tell athletes, you might not see results every single time you go to the gym, but if you keep going, you will see results over time. It's the same thing with social media. Just keep putting in the work and showing up, and people will be attracted to your page over time. Mm-hmm.
Do you find that posting videos versus text or
Yes.
pictures?
So videos will get you more views usually. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Whitney, going off of what you were talking about with like collaborating, and I feel like that's a really good tool, especially if you're in the beginning of sharing your page.
Mm-hmm.
Something, where we have Gilco at our show, he does that highlight reel at the end, and he invited us as a collaborator when he posted our highlight reel from our show. And I just pulled it up to look at you can see the insights on it. And we only have about 2,400 followers on our Instagram page, but from him posting our highlight reel on his and inviting us as a collaborator, we had 12,000 non-followers see our page just from that one video because of his reach. It ended up reaching almost 20,000 people. And, someone like that who has a really insane reach can really help grow your show. I think we got an additional like 400 or 500 followers after he posted that video.
That's
just from
good.
something like that. Obviously that's a bigger scale, but like we've done that a lot with sponsor posts and just did it as collaborators. And
Yeah.
it's been able to get our reach out a little bit more.
Yeah,
just as we
for
go.
sure. Yeah, Gilco, he's got a big following too. So
Huge following.
Anything he puts out there.
And he does it to where he'll post one of his big like Olympia or Arnold videos and then post your show's video after that. So it's already got a lot of people there seeing it, and then they see yours right after that with all your show stuff. Which
He's
is
really good at social media.
Yeah,
For
very
sure.
good.
For sure. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about, and we will talk about videos, engaging your community. So you want to stay in contact with your audience. You don't want to just put posts out there and then never engage with them. So comments and DMs, you can set aside 10 minutes if that's all you have in a week starting out. Go reply to comments. When they comment on your post, you want to reply to them. Make sure you're checking your DMs and your message requests, because a lot of messages get trapped in there. If you're not following them, you might not see their messages. You want to reply to DMs, you want to reply to their comments because they took the time, something resonated with them emotionally enough for them to comment on your post. You want to reply to them. If you reply to them, they're going to feel like special, that you actually took the time and that you care. And so it's going to get you even more buy-in with the athletes. They're going to know, if they're taking the time to reply to my comment, they must really care about the athletes. It's got to be a great show. So all this subconsciously is going to go on in their head. So you want to reply to everything. Video, glad you brought that up. Video is going to get you more views usually. People like to watch videos. They don't like to read. I'm sure all of you know that. Nobody reads. Nobody likes to read. Videos is where it's at. So Reels on Instagram, that's going to get you more views than just a static post usually. And then your video and your IG stories. Your stories is a great way to really engage with your community and do things like polls, surveys, Q&As, stuff like that. They love doing stuff like that, interacting with you. So what that does is whatever the Instagram algorithm is, if they're engaging with your page, more stuff from your page is going to show up to them over time. So just because you have like 10,000 followers, doesn't necessarily mean all 10,000 followers are going to see every single post. But if they're engaging with you, then they are going to see more of your posts. So it's important to try to engage with your community as much as possible. And then another way that you can do that is through Facebook groups. It does take a little bit of time to manage these. What I do is for athletes that sign up, and this is another way I encourage early signups, is they get put in a Facebook group that only athletes that are registered for the show can be in. So it's their little safe space to ask questions or get resources. So I'll post like motivational stuff in there, but also information about the show. I'll try to get videos from IFBB pros, like just giving them a quick tip of the week or just a motivational message that'll help them keep going, stuff like that. So it really makes them feel good to be part of something exclusive that the whole world can't see. So that's another way you can engage with your community. There's a lot more ways, but here's just a few to start with.
So with my stories, I don't know, like so I think of it like when people are on the cardio machine or whatever, and they're just like sitting there watching through the stories of people and just, going and stuff, because I heard a couple of athletes say they do that. Well, I was like, well, I want to have some funny stuff. So I have like these kids falling and getting hurt, or these, people doing something stupid where they're jumping and that fall. So I'll do several of those videos, and then boom, hit them with the sponsor, reel, that I turn into a story, and then boom, then it will go. And then I might hit them with a little quick music video of like 36 Mafia doing their thing back in the day. And then bam, switch it over, and then bam, hit them with another sponsor, and then that way throughout, or something about the show. Hey, get ready, July 27th, it's gonna be great. And then
That's one way to do it.
is that
I mean, if it's working for you, keep doing it.
I mean, I'm only getting like sometimes 70, views from it. Is that? I mean, I think that's a good number.
Usually like stuff that you post, you want it to be relevant to your brand in some way.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what we're all about. We got Pit Vipers as a sponsor, so they got these big old shades, and their whole brand is that way, fits with our vibe. So, I've got a whole deal with this beer company where they didn't put the NPC on there, but they put our logo in there because they work with Mossy Oak and stuff. Anyways, we got beers and stuff. They got our logo on there with, ducks getting shot all on the can. And so it all kind of flows together, you see. And so I'm putting that on my stories. So like Stone Cold Steve Austin smashing beers, boom, put that on the story. Hey, by the way, next little story, hey, everybody gets free beer. You know what I mean? So
if that works for you, if that's your branding and that works for you,
okay,
go for it.
Well, I just got to get more views. Okay, I was just wondering. So I don't know.
You could try putting out though more relevant content to bodybuilding though.
Okay.
If you want to attract competitors.
Yeah.
So you don't want to attract just random people. Like we were talking about, you don't want a huge number of followings. Like if they're never going to come to your show or sign up for your show, then there's no point in having more followers or more views. It's quality over quantity. Think about it that way. So you don't want just big numbers of whoever, because that's not going to make you money. Followers don't make you money unless they're engaged and they're actually interested in what you're promoting. So coming to your page, somebody might be a little confused on, okay, what is this guy doing? What is he promoting?
That's true. But it keeps them, I was thinking, well, maybe it'll keep them engaged a little bit by, oh man, that's funny, the kid fell on the ground. And then like go to the next story, oh shit, that did. And then the next thing, boom, oh man, I see what this is. I don't know.
You're creative, Alex. You should just get on there and talk
Yeah.
and run contests and like do funny stuff yourself.
Okay.
Like that relates to the bodybuilding.
All right.
I know you can come up with some stuff. You don't want somebody to come to your page and wonder like, what is this page? Like, what are they trying to promote? Because it's in the long run, it might get you more views, like quick views, but it doesn't correlate to your business being successful.
Okay.